My name is Robert Ram. I'm 17 years old. I'm from Orange County, California. I've been swimming with the Challenge Athletes Foundation for about 4 years now, and I'm training for the 2016 Paralympic Games in Brazil.
So one thing you can see about Robert's stroke right here is you can see his back, you can see each hip being expressed up. And you also can see the length of his body is really long, from his head all the way down to his foot. His foot runs pretty superficial. And again, how he really attacks the water up front is a very great part of what Robert does well. He loves to get into that stroke and really put it down up front. We're going to look at aspects of Robert's stroke. And right now you can see that his arm is really extended forward. He has really good linear direction forward. The one thing though Robert has right now is he's really putting a lot of energy up front, which is actually elevating him out of the water a little bit too much, because you can see the back of his head all the way out of the water. He has good rotation, but he's showing a little bit too much of the back out of the water. We'd like to see him a little bit further down in the water. Look at that right arm. It's already forward 90, or 90 degrees from his body up. It's very aggressive forward in his strike. Look at his position of his hand and his lower part of the arm as it's driving forward. So now what you see is Robert's right hand entering. He still has really good body position. The left arm is dropped down and starting to move back. Now we have his right arm expanding forward as you see his left arm retracting back. Still great body position, good entry, forces forward, forces back. You can see his heel all the way in the back, so you can say hand, head, hip, heel. Now let's look at Robert's head at this point. His head looks like he's looking forward, and he is, so his head's up. Robert comes from a water polo background, so he has more of a tendency to have that head forward position. As he matures in his stroke, he's been working on keeping his head more neutral or looking down more. But this is a really good example of a head forward position. Now we have Robert's right hand forward and starting to retract. Left arm has recovered, and you can see it's moving out away from his body, out and around. And that's exactly where it should be. Arm slightly flexed. He's using a slight bent elbow recovery. Body position still good. Again, but you can see so much part of his forehead here, or the hairline in front, that he's again got that water polo look forward kind of style of stroke. Now what's really nice to see again is Robert's upper arm is perpendicular to his body or out to the side. But let's look at that forearm and the hand. It's basically exactly where it should be, facing forward to drive and attack the water, again to drive him into rotation, which is going to take him into his breath cycle on the right hand side. And this brings us back into the breath cycle on the right hand side. Again, you see that beautiful driving forward on that left arm, good rotation through the shoulders, but again a little bit out of the water, a little bit too high, and you can see his head behind the splash there. Again, it's elevated up in the air, and he should be a lot lower to the water. What we're seeing here is Robert's right foot striking down on the kick. And you can see his right hand off to the side. It's open. You can see his palm of his hand as he's pushing through. Actually, that is the correct timing sequence of the leg coming down with the hand as it's pushing through. Now, his hand has left the water and he's completing his kick, and his foot has now turned out, because the next direction it's going to come, as you see in the next sequence, is back up and across. There it goes, up on a diagonal, and now at this point his foot is reloaded and his left hand is coming through in the swim pull sequence. Now we have Robert looking from on top, his kick sequence. You see on the right side, watch that leg swing across, left side, right side, left side. So it has a swooshing side to side motion and back. Now here's the second time through we're looking at it. The problem with Robert's sweeping leg is he has really good direction up front, but that leg cutting across is going to make his body swish left to right, right and left. So it's really pulling a lot of action in his hips, one side to the other. Can you see it's driving him and shifting his body? So what we'd really like to see is a little bit more organization and staying on the right side of his body versus letting it shift all the way back across. Even though he's adapted well to it, it probably helps straighten him out a considerable amount. Here's Robert again working his kick sequence, and he really has the snap down. Each hand at each point right there he's snapping, right there he's snapping. Timing's really good. Watch this one right here as he really lights it up. He's coming down and pop. You can see the hips elevate, the hands go down. He's really moving into it really well. So the kick and the timing is actually right on. Again, we just might have to pull it into a certain kick arena, let's say, or keep him more on the right side so it doesn't become too expressive, so it doesn't lose energy up front, wobbling left to right and right to left. Okay, let's look at Robert. Look at how well he just attacks the water. Look at the head position now. He's trying to keep that left goggle in the water. He rides really high. But again, his alignment and control to align his body is really good. He really fires it out there well. He's very aggressive up front. And we do look forward to seeing him in the next Olympics. We hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have questions, contact Challenge Athletes Foundation or Alice and I for more coaching tips, as everything sometimes has to be modified just a little bit to make it work perfectly. Look for some of our other videos coming up this season. As they come up, we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.